Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another figure review, and today I'm taking a look at this right here. And of course, this is the SH Figuarts First Order Stormtrooper from Star Wars, and this figure is by Tamashii Nations. Of course, if you want one of these of your own, make sure to check out those awesome people over at Hobbylink Japan. That link is down there in the description. Anyway, as for the box, there is the front, the left-hand side, the right-hand side featuring a little picture of the guy himself, and there is the back. Full body pose, the weapons, alternate shoulder parts, as well as a close-up there. So just in case you're curious as to if this is different to the one that was released before, the one from The Force Awakens, this one right here is from The Last Jedi, well, I'll put the picture on the screen right now as to the differences between the two. So this is an updated version, but it's still essentially the same figure with some extra stuff and an update just like I said. But anyway, let's bust this thing open and see what we've got. Wait, the flap on these boxes is on the side. Besides clear inner packaging, we also get the instructions completely in Japanese. But anyway, onto the figure itself. So there is that clear inner packaging with everything that comes in the box. Now let's bust him out of there. So there it is out of the box, and there's not a whole lot I can say when it looks exactly what it should look like. Honestly, this figure just looks fantastic. You may have noticed that this is the first ever Star Wars anything I've reviewed on this channel, and that's because I just love, and I mean love, the First Order Stormtrooper design. They look just so cool. And honestly, there's nothing really to say besides Bandai Tamashii Nations have done this thing absolute justice. It looks great. The blacks on there are in a sort of matte paint, not a true matte, but quite matte compared to the gloss of the white you can see there. This isn't exactly high gloss, this is more of a semi-gloss, not as crazy as you may expect. One thing I would say is it doesn't quite capture the plastic look the armor in the movie has. To you that might be a good thing or a bad thing. As for the paint applications, they're pretty much perfect. You could be extremely picky in some parts and say they're not 100%, but seriously, from a distance you will never notice. Again, for the extremely picky, you may find a seam line here and there, but once again, this is under absolute, and I mean absolute, extreme scrutiny. So next up right there is a comparison to the budget-friendly version. This right here is the model kit, the Bandai model kit, and of course, this is the Tamashii Nations figure. So this one right here, the Bandai model kit version, is about a half or a third of the price of this, depending on where you get it. Do feel it pulls off that kind of plasticky look the armor has in the movies a lot better than this guy right here. It's also a pure brilliant white, but of course the painted details and all of that on this guy here looks that much better. But again, that's the look. This thing doesn't have much in the lines of articulation. Okay, but anyway, we'll take a look at the articulation on this right now. So there's the head up, down, and all the way around, so a standard ball joint. The arm all the way up, rotation all the way around. The shoulder pad moves independently. Okay, so yes, there is rotation here at this point. That bend at the elbow, extra rotation here, and the wrist is just what you would expect in this kind of figure. So that means you've got some flexion, extension, and that can rotate all the way around. This part here is just slung around the neck, so it does get in the way of that moving up and around, but that's about it. That does come off. Ab crunch to the front as well as to the back. Side to side, we've got another joint down here, rotates at the waist. These parts on the waist move up, 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 and up, kicking that leg all the way up to the front. That's kind of not that great. All the way to the back, again, very blocked. And finally, there are the splits. Slight rotation here, the bend at the knee, foot up and down, the bend at the toe, and a pivot side to side. All in all, the articulation is good, not great, and it would have been nice if Bandai, well, included a stand. But they never do. So there is the First Order Stormtrooper from The Last Jedi with everything that it comes with. So as for hands, we got that pair of default fists which you've seen already, a pair of holding hands with extended trigger fingers, could also be used as pointing hands I guess, as well as these kind of half open arms which are for holding that front section of the rifle. And speaking of weapons, we've got two versions of the blaster pistol, this one here on the leg, Again, Bandai, include a stand, please. This one has these two little pegs for attaching it onto the leg, and then we have the standard version right here, and that just pops into the hand, just like that. And last up then, we have the blaster rifle in black, white, with some metallic silver on there as well, so the same colors as the figure itself. The paint on here does look a little bit light in spots, but then again, no deal breakers. Also, this little section on the rifle pops down like that. And last up then, we've got 3 colors of the shoulder parts, that's white, black, and red. And to swap these out, you just yank off his noggin like that, and then they just slide off simple like that. So you can have it without those if you prefer. So that is it for the review, and all in all, I can say I am definitely impressed. Looks-wise, this thing looks fantastic. The small details, everything looks great. On some parts where the white is on black, it does look a little bit faint, but then again, nothing too awful. Besides that though, the gloss white on top of that semi-matte black just look great together. As for the accessories, pretty solid, but as usual with a Tamashii Nations figure, I would prefer to see a stand in there. Figures without a stand, that's just kind of annoying. Lastly, as for the articulation, it's pretty solid. It's good, not great. The legs are quite limited, but all in all, at the end of the day, it is a Stormtrooper. It's not going to be making the most dynamic poses, backflips, karate kicks, all that sort of stuff, but for what it is, it's pretty much perfect. Of course, if you want one of your own, make sure to check out that link down there in the description and get yours at Hobbylink Japan. If you'd like to see more content like this, hit that like button, and as always, I'll see you next time.